Alright, so I was originally gonna gatekeep this and continue to gatekeep this, but then, you know what? Sharing is caring. So, I'm gonna show you guys a completely broken ZENYATTA build that's gonna allow you to support diff, DPS diff, one-shot headshot, all while having insane survivability. So this build is gonna improve every aspect of gameplay ever. What more do you want? Right? A Zen that doesn't die easily, that can drop flankers where they stand, one-shot headshot, you know, insane amounts of healing, and, you know, just putting out insane amounts of damage. This video is going to be divided into two parts. One, in the practice range. And the reason why is because they added numbers. Right? So you can see exactly how much damage, how much healing is going on, right? So, I'm going to show you round by round which powers and which perks to pick. Now, before I get into this, the main crux of this build is going to be ability power, right? I've seen so many ZENYATTA players not go for ability power because they're like, oh, ability power only affects your healing orb. Yeah, well, yeah, it does. But it's going to affect a lot more than that, and it's going to help you actually DPS diff, right? And if you think your healing orb is inconsequential, and that's the reason why you're not going for ability power, and instead you're going for weapon power and attack speed, and you have this DPS mentality like, oh my god, I'm gonna DPS and I'm gonna have insane high damage and fire rate, and I'm gonna pop off and blah 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 blah. No, you're throwing the game. You are throwing the game if you're not going for ability power, right? Oh, but when I go for no ability power and I go DPS build, I win the games. Yeah, because your other support is carrying the healing part of your team. If you're not healing enough, you're not gonna get your ult fast enough. If you want to ult as quickly as possible, you need to heal more, not just damage more. You're going to be doing damage because the main priority is ability power. The second biggest priority is going to be weapon power, right? Forget about attack speed. Zen doesn't need attack speed. He really doesn't. And cooldown reduction, well, he has nothing. He has nothing on cooldown. Zen has nothing on cooldown, right? Getting into the build. Why is ability power important? So before we get into the powers, why is ability power important, right? Now, if you're crying about, oh, but all it does is affect heals. All right, so let's watch. Let's watch this bot's healing go up, right? So it's going up at a certain rate, right? It's going up at a certain rate. Now let's buff ability power, right? So we go into ability, we go through all the ability power buffs, and then we're going to see, oh, okay, so we're at 110 ability power, right? So watch the healing now. That's insanely fast. That is insane amounts of healing, right?
Opulence follows you.
Look at what it does to 200 HP allies, right? Let's break line of sight so the orb returns to us. Now, the other thing is, so let's put this on more powerful robots, right? They're gonna shoot rockets. Now, let's get into the power. The first power I'm gonna go for is Inner Peace. Now, what does it say? Gain a Harmony Orb that is always attached on you, which means you're always healing. You take damage, you start healing instantly. It heals for 75% less. That's 75% less. So it's healing for 25% of your usual healing orb, right? So, you always have a healing orb attached to you, right? There it is. This tiny healing orb that's attached to you and it's doing a little bit of healing, right? So you take damage, you instantly start healing. It's healing, it's healing, it's healing, and then your shield gen kicks in, and your support passive kicks in. Now, let's buff his ability power once again. Right? Let's say if it's even if it's at 85%, look at how much less, look at how much faster he starts to heal.
Would be appreciated.
Right? Now, so that's the survivability aspect, right? So you need this perk for survivability, right? And the good thing about this build And by the way, if you're creating a build, you have to buff one of these 4 around the powers that you select. Okay? Now, ability power single-handedly boosts healing, as we know, helps Zen do more damage, that we'll get into, and help him survive longer, which we'll also get into, right? How does it help you survive longer? Because this healing orb that's attached on you does more healing the more ability power you have. If we buff everything, you saw how quickly you started to heal, or at a much faster rate that you started to heal, right? Because having ability power is going to increase the healing of this Harmony Orb that's always attached to you. Let's get into the first round build. What I like to go for is weapon power, ability power, and weapon lifesteal. Now, why would I go for weapon lifesteal? Because, let's say you're just shooting, right? The fight started and you're shooting. You're taking damage, you're also doing damage. So when you're taking damage, the inner peace Harmony Orb is healing you. Plus, you get lifesteal from your left click. So you're healing even more. So that's a good thing. That's a very good survivability thing that you've got buffed. Now, second round starts. What I want you to do is I want you to go for either Orb of Perception, because it gives you 15% of both ability and weapon power, and it also reveals discorded targets, so you can see them behind walls. Now, you can, like, if the revealing by the Discord Orb is not that much of a concern to you, if it's a really open map that you're getting into, and there's not a lot of corners, then you can either go for 2, right? So you go for Talent Modification, and you can go for Nano Cola. So this is going to give you 20% ability power. So you have a little bit more ability power, right? But regardless of what you pick, the second power you want to go for is Discord Inferno. What does Discord Inferno say? When you land a headshot on a discorded target, you will do 50 explosion damage. But this 50 explosion damage is ability power damage. Which means if you buff ability power, this explosion damage is going to be more. So now you've buffed ability power by 30%. So it's going to do 50 times 1.3. So basically 30% more from 15. So that's the second perk we're going to go for. Now, the third power you want to go for is going to be Discord Fever. Right? Because what does Discord Fever say? It says, when you apply Discord Orb on someone, they take 50 damage over time. But wait, that is 50 ability power damage. And you've buffed ability power. So you're going to do more than 50 damage. You know what? Let's test this out. Let's test this out right now. Right? This is a Reaper. Let's apply a Discord on him.
Scarcity consumes.
Let's see how much damage he's taking. Oh, wow. 81 damage. 81 damage. Oh, I think because the Discord's basic 30% damage effect is buffing this even more. Let's try this without ability power. I actually don't know this.
What torments you?
Unacceptable. Ow! Oh!
Yeah. You're taking 50 ability power damage over 5 seconds, but the target is already discorded. So even without ability power, you're doing more than 50 damage. So that, okay, that I didn't even know until making this video. But that's also a good thing. So now if you have ability power boosted, you know what, let's go for this. And we have this hooked up initially. So you're doing more than 50 damage. That also means you're doing more explosion damage even without ability power. But you have ability power buffed. So that's an additional boost on top of the 30% Discord boost, right? So that's actually a good thing. What you want to have with you is Orb of Perception and this one, Phantasmic Flux. A lot of people make the mistake of going for Vanadium Injection, but that only works if you have full ult. If your ultimate is already charged up. And that's not going to be as often, right? Because how long are you going to hold on to your ult? So it's better to just go for this. It gives you 10% ability and weapon power, but it also gives you weapon lifesteal and ability lifesteal. Remember, you have Discord Fever. You apply Discord, so every ability power damage you're doing, you're gaining lifesteal with ability lifesteal, right? And the good thing about this is, when you are full health, your lifesteal converts into overhealth, stacking up to 100. So you can have a tank Zen, because that's another one of the survivability aspects of this build, because you need this perk, Phantasmic Flux. You need Orb of Perception, because you can see through walls. Bro, you get every single buff with this build, right? Now, let's go for the full build. So eventually you want to go for Champion's Kit, right? Eventually you want to go for the Closer, because you do more headshot damage, and that works really well with Discord Inferno, right? And this is where the one-shot headshot is about to come in, right? And then I'll do Talon modification, and then I'll do Nano Cola, or if I have a little bit more, I'll go for, I don't know, I'll go for something with like weapon power more to do like a little bit more damage to armor, because this and this is the same thing, except this has more armor damage reduction, or rather ignores 50% of armor's damage reduction, right? So this is what my final build looks like most of the games, and Zen can stack up points very quickly. He can get to this build faster. Now, another thing I wanted to highlight is that Zen is the only character whose melee is buffed by weapon power. Watch. That is 96 damage. That is 96 damage. Right?
A telling blow.
120 damage on a discarded target, right? So let's see how much damage this actually does. You want to see the one shot? Let's see the one shot. Actually, let's see if we can one shot 300 HP heroes. That's
Your luck.
that was 350. Wow! Even with armor. Let's see what this does to Roadhog, right?
My spirit burns.
That's 401 damage. That is 401 damage. That's where the one shot comes in, and this is even without a kick. So if a Genji's flanking you, Discord, right? Discord headshot and then kick.
Effervescent.
Because you always want to kick the Genji, right? The kick is doing... This is ridiculous. 521 damage. You're doing 521 damage one-shot combo. Right? And that's what this build is. Right? That's exactly what this build is. You can one-shot anyone to oblivion. Right? Now, the fourth power, right? What I like to do is go for Enlightenment. I don't like Dual Harmony because, yes, it has 2 orbs, but, you know, it heals less. And you have more stuff, like my ADHD brain can't keep track of so many things. I just want to think about one target that I'm putting my orb on, and he gets a lot of the heals, as you saw. So I like to go with Enlightenment because whoever I discord, they will receive lifesteal from my damage. So they're gonna get burst healing for 35% of the damage that I dealt. So imagine, I have my, because like I always put my orb on my tank. If you've seen my previous videos on Zen tutorials, I always orb my tank because he keeps taking the damage, and he keeps healing, and I keep building the ult, right? And that's how you get ult very fast as Zen. You keep your orb on the tank. 35% of the damage you dealt. We just dealt 500 damage with that one-shot combo. What's 35% of that? It's more than 100. So this is burst healing. They instantly get healed for the amount of burst damage that you're doing, right? Now, there are other builds that exist. Of course not as good as mine. But Dual Harmony can work very well with Enlightenment because you have 2 people who have orb on, and then your damage will give you 35% of your lifesteal to both of those targets, right? So you can do a lot of healing as Zen with this, but that's a whole other build. So what I like to do is I could either go for Enlightenment, I could also go for Soul Control. It depends on the comp you're running, it depends on the buffs that the enemy team have. So the fourth power is really just your choice, right? What Soul Control does is you can pop your ult and cancel it early, and you can save ult charge, and then you can build it back up again. So you can pop your ult, instantly do like a massive amount of burst healing to your team, get them at full health, and then cancel your ult. So like, let's say Sigma ult, right? Sigma slams, you right before Sigma slams, you pop your ult. Oh, someone's calling me. They're ready to play Overwatch. But anyway, Sigma slams, your team's half health, your ult gets them at full health, you cancel the ult, right? Alright, now let's take this into an actual game.
Capture the objective. Over there.
The objective unlocks in 10 seconds.
This does not go well for you. Hostile here. Let us escort you along your path. I am under attack. They have taken possession of him. My spirit burns. Experience prosperity.
Pushing our barricade.
Taking the lead.
We're ahead. For now. Engage those hostiles. Tactical visor out. Destiny beckons us toward our destination.
The round is in the bag. Let's check the standings.
I require data. I've got meds. I am restored. What to miss you? Watch out, they're back. Just eyes on an enemy.
We can't get much closer than this.
Flimsy shield.
Our team needs to fight hard to close the gap.
This ends now.
Experience prosperity.
Bounties off the board.
I require
That's gonna hurt. position.
Under attack.
The objective goes live in 10.
How ominous.
The objective is now active.
Destroy them, Bob!
There's a bounty in the bag.
Energy flows through me. I am restored.
Destroy them, Bob!
This ends now.
Experience prosperity. A resolution sweeper. Chaos wants
The objective goes live in 10.
assistance would be appreciated.
The objective open. There's a bounty in the bag. That's a bounty secured by
Soul ignited.
They take the bounty.
Heavy burden to bear.
They take the point. They're pushing forward to objective
The
A.
source of all suffering.
The objective unlocks in 10 seconds.
Destroy them, Bob!
The objective is now active.
My thanks.
Over there! They got Bob! Damn it!
No one can stop me!
My spirit is experience prosperity.
Destroy them, Bob!
Ultimate shutdown. The round is in the bag. Let's check. The objective goes live in 10.
Let's show
My spirit is strong. Chaos haunts your path. I am effervescent. Hello, brother. Come with us.
They took the robot! Destroy them, Bob!
I am restored. Now to strike. Independence, prosperity. My soul ignites.